Hi everyone, it's Mark here again. I'm the founder of the Arts and Culture Network. We're now over 120,000 strong across our 8 LinkedIn groups, which is very exciting. But this is the best bit for me. This is where I get to introduce you to our full members. And Trisha McCauley has joined me. Trisha, thank you so much for jumping on and saying hello.
You're welcome.
I should point out that I haven't really given Trisha any warning about what we're about to do, so it's right off the cuff. But before we do that, I'm going to create your fantasy cultural year from the answers to 10 easy questions, and it's the best way of pulling out the anecdotes, surprises, and often some laughter. So that will be fun. But before I do that, would you like to just introduce yourself to our fellow members?
Right, so my name is Trisha McCauley. My background is the creative arts, and I specialised in the photography. And at the moment, I'm also studying, and I'm also do curating and art education for young people.
Brilliant. Wherever this appears, there'll be nice links to your LinkedIn profile and any websites that we want to add.
Okay.
So thank you so much for being one of our full members. It's very much appreciated because we're on a mission to become a global support foundation for those in the arts and culture sector, supporting member-nominated projects all over the world without any application form or reporting burden. So the opposite of an Arts Council grant, but bless them. So
Sounds great.
that's great. When we apparently, if we keep growing at the same rate, we'll have between 2,000 and 3,000 subscribers by the end of the decade, which means we'll be able to give away over £10,000 every month. So
Fantastic.
that's the plan. I coined the phrase democratic collective philanthropy. That's what we're doing. Anyway, let's dive into the fun bit. It starts with this very easy question. Do you have a favorite building? And if so, what is it?
Oh, interesting. I think my favorite building at the moment is the one that I can see from across my flat. So I'm going to say Canary Wharf, because I
Oh,
love looking at it at night time.
it's got that big flashing light on the top of
Yes, it
the
does. It
yeah.
does.
Oh, that's great. When I live in Essex, so when you're driving over the bridge from Essex to Kent, you can see it on the horizon. It's great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, that's our starting point. So I'd like you to assume that you're in the middle of Canary Wharf. There's a bar with a nice piece of grass in front of it, isn't there? Right in the center. I'd like you to assume you're sitting um, in the sunshine, 6 o'clock in Canary Wharf, looking up at the big, what is it? What bank is it? The 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 the
HSBC.
HSBC, yes. It's sunny and warm, 6 o'clock, and you're taking a bit of a breather after a meeting in that lovely big building.
Right.
You're on your right is a book. Okay.
Mm.
It's a book that's either been with you all your life that you can't stop rereading, or your favorite book, or a book that made a big difference to you, or something you've discovered recently. What might that book be?
Ooh, good one. Do you know what? When I was younger, I used to love reading horror books. And I usually don't read books twice. I usually read them once and that's it. But this book really intrigued me as a youngster, and it's Misery by Stephen King. I
Oh,
absolutely love that book.
and that was made a great movie, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that was probably one of the only movies that were, actually transferred really well onto the screen, I think.
Yeah. Was
I
it
think they had fantastic actors and actresses on there.
was it Kathy Burke?
That's right, Kathy Burke and Khan. I can't remember his first name now.
James Caan.
James Khan. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that was really
So,
good. I love that.
so not a highly intellectual book, but a horror book because I'm a fan of horrors.
That's great. That's perfect. Now it's sunny. It's six
Hmm.
o'clock. The sun is over the yard arm. Should you wish, there's a drink on your left. What's the drink?
Oh, it's got to be a pina colada, isn't it?
Nice. The taste of holidays.
Yes.
Pina
Yes,
colada.
absolutely. Wherever I
Excellent.
am, as long as there's a bit of sun, it could be in England, or it could be, it could be sitting in Southend on Southend Beach. But if the climate is right and I have a pina colada by my side, I could be, in the Caribbean somewhere.
Beautiful. We have a member who joins our meetings from the Bahamas.
Oh,
She was the general manager at the National Theatre and then moved to the Bahamas and is a creative performance coach. And she joined us once, and there was this beautiful scene behind her. And I said, Sarah, that's a really lovely background video you've got on. She said, it's not a video, Mark. Where are you based again, Trisha? Remind us.
So I'm based in East London.
Right. Hence the Southend-on-Sea beach.
Well, I grew up in Essex, so
right. I'm in Hullbridge in Essex, so we're down towards Southend. So
yeah.
excellent. Okay, now you're feeling quite pleased with yourself because you've just come away from a meeting with a very wealthy city-based family philanthropy organization, and they've asked you if you'd like to spend a year in the country of your choice, taking photographs and studying the landscape of photography, arts and culture in that country. It's highly paid. Everything at home is sorted out. You can take any family members you need or want to take with you. It's first class travel all the way, and a beautiful apartment in the city of your choice when you get there. I'm assuming you'd say yes.
Absolutely.
Right? Where are you going?
I think it would be the Fiji Islands.
Oh, we've not had Fiji before. Love that. Now, the trouble is, I don't know what the capital of Fiji is. We'll have to find out.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a quick Google.
I'm glad you didn't ask me what it was, because I have no idea either.
The capital of Fiji is Suva.
Suva.
And
I'll make a note of that. I'll write it down. It may become reality.
Right. I'm going to show you where you're going. This is always good fun. I like doing this bit. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see where we're going. There we go. Right. This is where you're going. Does it look nice?
It looks nice, but I'd also, the Fiji Islands is a cluster of islands, so I'd love to explore.
Yeah. Okay, let's have another look. Fiji Islands. Yeah, you get to do this as well.
Yeah.
There we go. And that we're going to pretend is a photographer's retreat. Okay. That's where you're staying.
Fantastic.
Or actually might even give you this one.
Anyone in the Fiji Islands is fine for me.
There we go.
I'm not fussy.
Or you could be on a mountain hill there with your pool. Look at that beach and that.
Fantastic.
Anyway, that's it. You're there. All expenses paid. A nice fee for the whole year. But you're on the plane. Okay, first class all the way. So you're lying down on the plane, and in the on the chair as you sat down was a note from this wealthy family foundation, wishing you a lovely year, telling you that they've arranged for some people to meet you and befriend you and take you under their wing when you arrive in Suva in Fiji, and then they'll take you out on a boat to your place. I'm loving this already, isn't it great? Now they've placed one condition on this, and that is that in order for you they want you to do the studying for them, but they want to study you while you're doing it. And they want you to limit your musical intake to one very specific genre of music, one type of music for the whole year, at the exclusion of everything else. So what type of music would you choose to listen to for a year?
I think it's going to be jazz funk of the late 70s, early 80s.
Nice. Any artists in particular?
I guess he's more soul, but I love George Benson.
Yeah, I saw him live at Wembley once.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Wow. Give Me the Night.
Yeah.
I love his version of La Mer as well. Yeah, you can have that lovely jazz funk. So that's it for the year. That's all you're listening to. Okay. Now you arrive and your guests are there holding your name up at the airport. And before they take you to the island where you're going to stay and take photos and study, they want to take you out for an evening of entertainment. And they've suggested that you go to a dance performance, and there is a lovely theatre in Suva. It's a magical theatre in that you can choose any dancer, living or dead, any dance group and any dance style. So what would you like us to put on the
Um,
stage?
any dance style? Ooh, let me think. I think it's going to have to be a little bit of a mix. So contemporary dance, that it will involve different styles within contemporary dance.
Okay, lovely. Any dancer in particular, or you'll take potluck?
Sorry?
Any dancer in particular?
I'll take potluck.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, so you've had a wonderful show.
Hmm.
They're going to take you out to dinner now, and
Yes.
Suva has a Michelin star restaurant in it. It has several, unusually for Oceania.
Yeah.
But they've said that there are several, so you can choose the national cuisine. It doesn't have to be local. So what country's cuisine would you ask to have for dinner?
Well, at the moment, usually my tastes vary depending on what I'm into at the moment. So I really loving Korean food right now. So I think it would have to be Korean food.
Nice. Well, there's a 3-star Michelin starred restaurant in Suva doing that. So you get to choose that. Excellent. So
Fantastic.
you're there, you're happy, you've settled
Hmm.
it. The next day is sport day in Fiji, and they enjoy all sorts of sport. They're particularly good at rugby, as you know.
Hmm.
But your guests have said you can take part or you can just watch. What sport would you like to watch for the afternoon?
Um, what sport would I like to watch?
Any sport you wish.
I think, hmm, I think because it's Fiji, I think I want to go for something extreme, which I used to do as a young person, is ice skating.
Ice skating.
Yeah.
Yep, there is an ice rink in Suva.
Hmm.
So they've closed the place down, so you've got it
Right.
yourself. Okay. Or you can they'll come with you if you wish. Excellent. The next day, back in Suva, you've had the
Hmm.
night on the island. The boat's brought you back because it's visual art day, and you can have in this lovely art gallery. It has the capacity to project or put on screens the entire output of any visual artist, any sculptor, or any photographer. But you can only choose one. So you can then walk through this art gallery
Mm.
enjoying all the work. Who would you choose?
Mm. Let me think. And they could be dead or alive, I presume.
Yes.
All right. So going back to my horror theme, it would have to be Goya.
Oh, nice. Excellent. Um, let's find some Goya to show people who might not be. Yes, just so they can. Where are we? Oh my Lord. Um, just to give. Oh yeah, that would. Where's images? There we go. Oh, some of them
But
are.
it would depend. It depends on what era. I mean, his late, his dark paintings or black paintings are probably, yeah. So
Yeah. Here we go.
not an
Just
interesting.
there we go. This will give us. This will give an insight into your tastes.
He actually had a good sense of humor.
Yeah. I mean, some of them are really. Look, I love
Yeah.
that. Look at
So
that.
it's that kind of era that I like, the masterpieces, where he's changed from, he's on the cusp of becoming a modern artist.
Yeah.
So,
Some really. Yeah. The black paintings of Goya. There you go.
mm.
Yeah.
But I do like his prints as well.
Right.
What a good selection of prints there.
Excellent. Okay. So you've got Goya to walk through. That's brilliant. Now, to
Mhm.
lighten the mood, and we will need to now, next day is any play, musical, comedy performance, or opera. You can choose one of those four, and then you can decide what it is that you see. So you can have a play, a
Mhm.
musical, an opera, or a comedy performance. So what would you plump for? You can have the original cast, anything,
Mm.
anything you wish.
Okay. Again, going back to childhood, I was really obsessed with this, and it's The Wizard of Oz. I just love that. I've watched that hundreds of times. I love The Wizard of Oz.
That's great. When I was working as a percussionist, I played in a show in the West End called Look to the Rainbow. And it was all of the music written by the lyricist Yip Harburg, who wrote all the lyrics for The Wizard of Oz. So I know that intimately. So yeah, you can have that, Wizard of
Thank you.
Oz. Next day is cinema day. Lovely luxury cinema, big seats, tables, anything you want to eat or drink. Nobody in front of you. You've got the place to yourself pretty much, but your friends are coming with you and they've asked you to choose a movie that they may not have seen that you think they'll love.
Okay. I think I'll go back to classic. So I do like the old black and white Hollywood movies, and so it would be Whatever Happened to Baby Jane with Joan
Oh,
Crawford and Betty Davis.
love it. Love it. That's a great pick. Love that.
Thank you.
It's all a little bit dark, isn't it? Some of it. It's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, it is a little bit. I just kind of, yeah, I do like that dark atmosphere.
Brilliant, brilliant. Now the next day is Hero Day. Okay, I found another restaurant in Suva, and I've booked it out for you and one other person for 2 hours, a nice leisurely lunch, and you can have any guest you like, living or dead, for
Okay,
2 hours, and they will come.
right. Oh my gosh, the person's name's on the tip of my tongue, and I'm completely. Um, oh my gosh.
Musical historian,
No, no, he's a South African leader. How can I forget his name? Like literally.
Mandela.
Mandela, that's it.
Yeah,
Nelson Mandela. I'd speak to
that would be a
him.
good lunch, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah,
You know.
not Edgar Allan Poe or somebody who.
No,
All
no.
right.
I mean, he's got to be one of the most positive people, or was the most positive people in the world.
I know how to persuade a whole country into a sense of forgiveness and
Mm.
reparation. You
Most
know,
optimistic, positive, and
yeah,
he believed in so much. He believed, he spent most of his life in jail for that
I know,
purpose.
unbelievable story.
Hmm.
Excellent. Okay, now the next day is one of those rare days where you wake up and you know with certainty that the whole day is your own to do whatever you like. There are no demands on your time, no chores, no jobs, no family commitments. Everybody's happy. You can do whatever you like. All your personal admin's up to date, I wish. And no expense spared. You can have a helicopter, a submarine, a yacht. You can have anything you like out there in Fiji. What would you like to be doing for the day?
I think I'd like to have a yacht. I'd like to round up some local people, and we just go out and go to another island and maybe just have a lovely family, or not family, maybe lovely friends and neighbours barbecue.
That sounds great.
Mm.
Love that. And there'll be some music. Some of them are musicians, so that's good. You can take lots of photos.
Yeah, yeah.
Where's your where's your website so we can have a look at some of your work?
I don't actually have one right now.
Okay. Instagram or anything?
Yeah, I've got Instagram.
Okay. Is it okay for us to go and have a look?
You can have a quick look. Yeah, it's Trisha underscore curates.
Trisha underscore curates. There we go. Beautiful. Right. Let's show everyone. Where have you gone? Share screen. There we go. Before we finish our quiz, can you talk us through some of these?
Right, so these are some projects that I've been working on. So I've got a project starting next week for half term. It's a drawing project for young people from the ages of 11 to 18. And these are some other projects that I've been involved in. I've been working on looking at sort of unsung heroes, if you like. So, for example, there's a South African writer, Sol Plaatje, who lived in Leighton. So I did a project about him. And these are some other projects. I created a Windrush exhibition. This is some of the artists that were featured in the exhibition. And these are some more projects that I was involved in over the last few years.
Excellent. These are always good fun, aren't they?
Yeah.
What was your involvement with this one?
Well, this one it was part of a project celebrating the sort of like the slave trade and sort of like educating, the general public, called The World Reimagined.
Yeah,
And this was quite a big project, and it was a nationwide project. It was like an educational program. And these globes, they were like artists' representation of how they felt about the impact of slavery. And if we could reimagine that, how would that look in today? So these artists were commissioned to create these globes.
yeah. They're one of our members has the company Wild in Art.
Right.
And he does all the hares and the elephants and the those they do those art trail things where you have to go and find them all. So I must introduce you to him because he'd be fascinated to hear more about
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Fantastic. Thank you.
good. Anyway, we digressed. Where are we? Okay, so you've had your lovely day. The year has come to an end. You're back on the plane, first class. There's a television. Any television you want is there, but you haven't been able to keep up with any TV shows that you enjoy. So what's the first TV show you might watch on the plane on the way home?
To be quite honest, I hardly watch TV. But if it's a Netflix, I guess I would be watching something, I guess, based on what I watched earlier in the year. It was about this drug dealer called Griselda.
Oh, I think I've seen that on Netflix. Is it
Yes.
good? Is it
Yeah,
good?
very good. Very good.
There's some wonderful stuff on Netflix and on Apple that I've spotted. I think you're right. 20 years ago, we'd have been glued to the television, wouldn't we? Watching all the soaps and Morecambe and Wise and
Yeah,
the whole lot. But it's changed so much now, hasn't it?
it has. It has. I mean, you can personalize your whatever you want to watch. To be quite honest, my TV, I don't actually have a TV in my house. I just
Yeah.
use, the
No, that
internet, and I just
30 years ago, that would have been very odd, but it's
mm,
no longer the case, is it?
yeah,
It's
exactly.
like people in central London not having cars. There's no point. Excellent. Okay. Now you're on the way home on the plane, of course,
Mhm.
and you get a note from one of the stewards, and it's been messaged over to you from the Family Foundation, who are thanking you for doing this year. They've sent you a bonus, which is really rather nice of them,
Mhm.
and they've lifted the ban on other forms of music. Okay,
Right.
so you don't have to listen to jazz funk only.
Mhm.
What's the first thing you're going to listen to?
The first thing I will listen to, I think it's going to be, I'm just trying to think what I would listen to the first thing. Maybe a little bit of reggae music.
Yeah, how about a bit of Bob Marley?
Yeah, probably a bit of Bob Marley. Probably Three Little Birds. It's corny, but I just love that
I love
tune.
it.
I
Steer it
love that
up.
tune.
Steer it
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
We our honeymoon 7 years ago was in Jamaica, and
Mhm.
I had the opportunity to see Bob Marley live in 1975, and I didn't go.
Oh,
I was only 12 at the time, but my father said he'd take me to the Rainbow and watch him live. Didn't go, should have done. But we went to the Reggae Sunsplash
mhm.
and in Jamaica, and like a true Brit, I said, "What is it? 7:30 for 8, something like that." And the guy in the hotel said, "No, no, no, more like 11:30 for 12." And it was absolutely amazing. I think we were outnumbered, as you can imagine, because it
Mhm.
was mainly locals there. But we had Ziggy Marley and Robert Marley
Ooh.
and Sean, who's the singer? Oh, Sean, he was the headliner. Sean Paul
Oh,
headline.
okay.
That was great. It was getting light by the time we left. It was fantastic night.
Well,
Lots
that's
of
the way it's got to be. Always got
yeah.
to end on dawn. That's the best
Oh,
time.
it's brilliant. He didn't come on, and it was getting light when he came on.
Yeah.
It was like a whole night of Red Stripe and rum and coke. It was just fantastic.
That's
Uh,
the song as well, Red and Rum and Coke. Not
yeah,
a reggae song, it's something else though. It's what we call a soca song.
Oh, I love soca as well.
Oh, do you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In the conga line.
Oh,
Love it. I'm a huge Bob Marley fan. I'm and salsa as well.
oh yeah.
Juan Luis, Juan Luis Guerra. He's Venezuelan, I think, and
Hmm.
absolutely amazing. Seen him live in at Brixton Academy as well, which was great.
Fantastic.
But yeah,
Wow.
anyway, I digress. So there you go. You're home. Everyone's come back to say, have you had a good year? And that you said, yeah, I have. It's been
Hmm.
highly paid, all expenses paid, beautiful apartment, and you've had a great time. So that's my gift to you is your fantasy cultural year. Many of the people I speak to and do this with say to me, please, Mark, could you actually make this happen? Because that would be great fun.
It would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Trisha, thank you so much for doing this. This will appear on our website with a profile about you.
Hmm.
And so that those who haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, as I have, can get to know you a bit better. And it did pull out the anecdotes and the laughs and the surprises. So, and the surprise was the horror. I didn't expect you to be quite
Oh,
so.
really? Oh no. Yeah, so into horror.
Yeah, brilliant. I hope that wasn't too painful. Thank you
No,
so
it
much
wasn't.
for doing.
I would have liked a bit more time so I could have fixed my hair, but there you go.
Yeah, I should have. So thank you again for being one of our full members. See you at
Mm,
one of our events soon.
yes.
We need to do some matchmaking for you. So I'll be doing, let's book another 30 minutes and I'll find some people in our network who you'd like
Mhm.
to meet and then you can follow them up directly. So that's the plan.
Thank you so much, Mark. It's been
Thank,
wonderful.
thanks, Trisha.
All right, take care.